You might be living a life that looks successful to others, but deep down, you know something is missing. You've been checking all the boxes: career, relationships, goals, but it still doesn't feel like enough, does it? Here's the hard truth. You're playing by everyone else's rules. You've been conditioned to follow the paths laid out for you by society, by friends, even by family, and that's why you feel like you're stuck. But what if I told you that everything you've been told about success is actually holding you back? That the very habits, mindsets, and patterns you've been trying to fit into are quietly sabotaging your potential? What if I told you the key to thriving is not fitting in, but standing out? And that's going to require some serious mindset shifts. Let me guess. This is already hitting close to home, isn't it? Well, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to change everything. Here's where things get interesting. We're so used to playing it safe. We're conditioned to believe that hard work means grinding away until we burn out, that success comes at the cost of our mental health. And in the process, we lose our sense of who we really are. We put on that smile, show up to the office, pretend everything's fine, but internally, you're questioning it all. You start to feel like an imposter, like you're acting a part, instead of living in alignment with your true self. You're tired, you're anxious, you feel like you're giving more of yourself away than you have left. There's a gap between who you are inside and who you've been taught to be on the outside. And that gap, it's eating away at you, slowly, quietly. That's burnout, that's self-betrayal, that's identity loss, and you're not alone in feeling this way. But here's the truth, you've been fed a lie. Success is not about doing more. It's about mastering these 6 key mindsets and shifting from surviving to truly thriving. These are the signs you're stuck in this loop, the "I'm doing enough" trap. You wake up at 5 a.m. like clockwork. Your mind starts racing with a list of things to do before the day even begins. You rush through your morning routine, grab the coffee, and step out the door. All day you push through back-to-back meetings, tight deadlines, and that constant pressure to do more. You get home, and the exhaustion hits you like a wave. Your body feels like it's been through a marathon. You crash into bed, only to stare at the ceiling, wondering, why do I feel like this is never enough? Sound familiar? It's the classic "I'm doing enough" mindset. You're working harder than ever. You're pushing yourself to the limit. But inside, it feels like you're constantly chasing something that you can never quite catch. Here's the thing, that "I'm doing enough" mentality, it's a trap, a prison you built for yourself, brick by brick. We've been conditioned to equate doing more with being more. But in reality, it's not about how many hours you work or how many tasks you check off. It's about alignment, whether what you're doing aligns with who you are and what you truly value. You see, you're not doing enough when you're spending your energy on things that drain you. Even if they look important on the surface, if they're not aligned with your passions or values, they're just distractions. And the more you focus on them, the more you feel like you're treading water no matter how fast you're paddling. It feels like running on a treadmill, giving everything you've got, but getting nowhere. You're in constant motion, but the finish line always feels just out of reach. So ask yourself this: what if enough wasn't about what you do, but about how you show up each day? What if it's about being intentional with your time and energy, rather than just filling the hours with noise and tasks? What if, instead of measuring your success by how many things you cross off your list, you measured it by how deeply you showed up for the things that matter most to you? Today, take a moment to pause. Reflect on the things that drain your energy. Maybe it's the endless emails, the toxic relationships, the projects that don't light you up. Once you've identified them, ask yourself, how can I redirect my energy towards what truly matters? Because here's the truth. You don't need to do more to be enough. You need to do what matters to be enough. 2. The over-responsibility burden. You're the one people turn to when they need help. Whether it's at work, at home, or among friends, you've become the go-to person, the problem solver, the rock. Everyone expects you to always have it together, and so you do, on the outside, but inside you're suffocating. The weight of everyone's expectations is too much to carry on your own. You say yes to everything because you don't want to let anyone down, but every yes comes with a little more of yourself being chipped away. You find yourself spreading thinner and thinner until you don't even recognize who you are anymore. You look around and it feels like you're holding the pieces of everyone else's life together while your own is falling apart. It feels like you're walking on a tightrope, trying not to fall, but the pressure is crushing. You have a million things to juggle, but no time to catch your breath. Here's the problem. You're over-responsible. You've taken on the role of savior for everyone but yourself. But here's the thing. Being there for everyone doesn't mean you're there for yourself, and that's where the damage starts. When you constantly prioritize other people's needs over your own, it feels good for a while, doesn't it? You get praise, you feel needed, but eventually it leads to burnout, resentment, and isolation. You lose yourself in the process. So here's the reframe. Saying no to others is actually saying yes to yourself. It's not about being selfish. It's about being whole enough to show up fully for the people and things that truly matter. The truth is, you can't pour from an empty cup. And until you start setting boundaries, you'll keep running on empty. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can say no to this week to reclaim some of my energy? The perfectionism paralysis. You're a perfectionist. You know it. It's in your bones. Everything you do has to be flawless, or else it doesn't count. But here's the catch. You're stuck in the cycle of not yet, the endless loop of trying to make everything perfect, only to never actually start anything. You don't send that email because you want it to be just right. You don't start that side project because you're still waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. You get overwhelmed by every little detail, and before you know it, days, weeks, maybe even months go by without any progress. It feels like a heavy weight on your chest, doesn't it? The constant fear that if you don't get it exactly right, you'll fail. The internal pressure to be the best at everything all the time. But here's the kicker. Perfectionism is just fear in disguise. It's fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. The truth is, perfectionism is the enemy of progress. It keeps you stuck in the planning phase forever, paralyzing you from taking action. So what if you let go of the need to be perfect? What if you embrace the idea that done is better than perfect? That progress, no matter how messy or imperfect, is always a step forward. Take action, even when it's not perfect. Take that first step, even if you don't feel ready. It's the only way to break free from the chains of perfectionism. Today, make a move towards something you've been avoiding. Take one small, imperfect action. It could be sending a text, taking a class, or having a difficult conversation. Just start. The validation hunger. It's easy to get caught in the trap of needing external validation. The likes, the comments, the approval. It's all part of the dopamine hit we've been conditioned to crave. You post that photo, check your phone every 10 minutes, watching the likes and comments roll in. For a moment, it feels like you matter. But when the notifications stop, so does the feeling of worth. And that hollow feeling, it comes back just as quickly as it went away. It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? You get a quick rush of satisfaction, but it never lasts. You find yourself chasing more approval, more attention, more recognition, but it's never enough. It's like you're feeding a hunger that can never be satisfied. This is the trap of seeking validation from others, believing that your worth is dependent on how the world perceives you. But here's the reality. When you rely on others to define your value, you'll always be at the mercy of their opinions. The truth is, your worth is innate. It's not something that can be earned or taken away based on someone else's approval. So what if you started validating yourself? What if you stopped waiting for others to tell you you're enough and just knew it deep down? Today, spend one moment of quiet reflection, just being with yourself. No distractions, no phone, no external noise. Just you, acknowledging your own worth without any need for validation from others. 5. The sacrifice to the point of self-loss. You've been giving and giving, always putting others first. You've sacrificed your time, your dreams, your energy, all for the sake of others. But somewhere along the way, you've lost touch with yourself. The person you used to be, the person you were before the demands of life took over, feels like a distant memory. You've been so busy being everything to everyone that you've forgotten how to be you. You've been living for others' expectations, but it's left you feeling invisible, disconnected, and empty. It's like standing in a crowded room, but somehow you feel completely alone. Your heart aches with the realization that you don't even know who you are anymore. The truth is, you can't pour from an empty cup, and by constantly sacrificing your own needs for others, you're not only losing yourself, you're also preventing others from seeing the best version of you. Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you fill your own cup, you have more to give to others. Today, take 10 minutes just for you. Whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or simply sitting in silence, prioritize yourself. It's the first step back to you. 6. The I'm not ready syndrome. You've got this burning desire inside of you, this dream, this vision of what you want to achieve. It feels big, it feels important, and yet every time you think about taking the next step, that voice in your head whispers, "Not yet. You're not qualified enough. You don't know enough. You don't have the experience, the resources, the right connections." You think, if only I knew a little more. If only I had a bit more time. If only the stars aligned a little better. It's like being at the edge of something incredible, but never quite having the courage to take the leap. You stand there paralyzed, staring at what could be the next chapter of your life, full of potential, full of promise. But that nagging voice keeps you stuck in a loop of waiting. You keep telling yourself, "I'll be ready when..." And you keep waiting and waiting. But here's the truth. It's never going to feel like the right time. If you wait until everything is perfect, you'll never move forward. That perfect moment you're waiting for, it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. What feels like not yet is just fear dressed up as caution. It's the part of you that's terrified of failure, terrified of being judged, terrified of not being good enough. It's the fear of messing up that keeps you locked in place. But think about it. How many opportunities have you let slip by because you weren't ready? How many times have you passed on something amazing, convinced that the timing wasn't right? How many chances have you missed to become the person you've always wanted to be, just because you didn't feel ready? Let me tell you something. You will never feel fully ready. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff. The view is breathtaking, the rush of adrenaline is just around the corner. But that fear is so powerful, isn't it? It feels like the fall is too big. But what if I told you that the leap isn't as big as it seems? What if the hardest part is simply taking the first step? Action trumps perfection. When you take that step, that's when the confidence will come. You don't wait until you're perfect. You take action, and then you get better. You learn, you grow, you adapt. You build your confidence through the doing, not the waiting. So here's your reframe. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start with one bold move, even if it feels messy, even if it feels scary, even if it feels imperfect. The first step is the hardest one. The rest will follow. The truth is, if you're always waiting for everything to align perfectly, you'll be stuck forever in the land of not yet. And I know you're not here to live a life of waiting. Action step. What's one bold step you can take today? It could be as simple as sending that email, signing up for that course, making that call, or just putting yourself out there in some way. Do it, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels like you're not ready. You'll be amazed at how much momentum you build once you start. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, because the moment is now. Take that step. You're more ready than you think. Now, as we unpack these mindsets, I want you to feel the weight of this truth. Every time you let these patterns run your life, you're putting off your potential. You're telling yourself you're not worthy of more, of better. But imagine this. What if you started showing up for yourself? What if you stopped believing that success is a sacrifice, that happiness is a constant struggle? Your life could shift in ways you never thought possible. You could finally start making decisions that feel right for you, not for anyone else. It's not going to be easy. Change never is. But trust me, it's worth it. Some people will resist your transformation. Some will feel threatened. But that's part of the healing. This isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming whole. So I want you to pause for a second and think about this. If nothing changes in your life, if you keep going down the same path, where will you be in a year, 2 years, 10 years? Now think about what could happen if you start showing up as your true self. If you shift your mindset, make bold decisions, and stop settling for less. It's a big shift, but it's yours for the taking. So I ask you, what's one thing you can do today to start moving in the direction of the person you want to become? If this video resonated with you and you're ready to dive deeper into reclaiming your energy, your purpose, and your life, I want to invite you to join me on this journey. Subscribe for more insights and practical tools that will help you step into the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. The next video is already lined up, and trust me, it's going to challenge you in ways that will change everything. Until then, remember, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is you.